In this video, I'm studying the takedown timing of Islam Makhachev in his fight against Dustin Poirier at UFC 311. I'm not just looking at what takedowns he used, I'm looking at when he chose to shoot and what he was reading in Poirier's reactions that made the shot feel worth taking. This breakdown is as much for my own training as it is for anyone watching. If you grapple, you know that timing is everything. And Islam is one of the best in the world at recognizing when an opponent's balance, rhythm, or defensive habits open a small window. So this is a study of shot selection, the moments before the entry, the cues he reads, and the outcomes those decisions lead to. Let's start in round 1. In the first round, the very first takedown Islam shoots tells us a lot about his approach for the rest of the fight. Islam pressures Dustin with a short barrage of punches. Dustin goes into a tight shell and starts stepping backward. As Dustin begins to transition back into offense, Islam anticipates the counterattack and times the level change. This isn't a fast shot, and it isn't forced. Islam is already anticipating offense coming back his way, and that anticipation creates the timing window he's waiting for. This is a great reminder, attacking off your opponent's counter offense often gives you better timing than attacking first. In round 2 at 4:48, Islam catches a leg kick and forces Dustin down to the mat. Dustin does a great job of donkey kicking out of the position and working his way back to his feet. Correct timing doesn't always guarantee success, especially when the opponent has strong, experienced takedown defense. At 3:43, Dustin gives 2 feints. Islam reads that Dustin isn't going to throw and shoots immediately after the second feint. This is high-level timing. The shot comes right when Islam realizes there's no immediate offensive danger after his 2 feints. Poirier pushes Islam's head down, attempts to kick the leg free, and escapes similarly to the previous takedown defense. At 2:04, Islam goes back to a familiar pattern. He throws a 3-piece combination, Dustin steps back, and Islam shoots off of an anticipated counter. This is where habits show up. Dustin adjusts and pulls his shorts. Just a small reset movement that he does all the time, and Islam shoots immediately. The timing is excellent, but Dustin stays heavy with his hips and defends well with an underhook. Still, this is one of the clearest examples in the fight of Islam reading micro resets instead of chasing takedowns and timing a takedown perfectly. With 20 seconds left, Islam pressures Dustin against the cage and initiates from the clinch. Dustin is tall and upright, so Islam level changes. Islam drops to the single and transitions immediately to the inside trip, almost identical to the takedown in round 1. This one works cleanly. In round 3, there's a subtle shift. Instead of shooting on the legs, Islam starts using the clinch and Greco-Roman style attacks. After an uppercut lands, Dustin closes distance to avoid more damage. Islam then secures a body lock immediately. Dustin is tall, his feet are close, and he pulls heavy on the whizzer to create space for an underhook. That posture gives Islam the throw. Islam turns his hip in, loads the weight, and hits the hip toss. Poirier posts a hand, and Islam steps behind the leg, forcing him to abandon the whizzer. Islam times the takedown through the clinch rather than forcing a shot. Round 4 is where Poirier's adjustments really show, and where Islam's fatigue begin to show as well. At 4:04, Dustin lands a clean body shot, and Islam shoots almost immediately after Dustin's offensive cycle. This feels more reactive than opportunistic. Dustin stuffs instantly and pressures forward. At 3:40, Islam invites offense with defensive head movement, trying to bait an overcommitment while anticipating Dustin's offense. But Dustin stays disciplined. He doesn't bite, he keeps his stance solid, and stuffs the shot super easy. At 3:11, Islam shoots again after a striking exchange where he gets a nice combination on Dustin. This turns into a long chain wrestling sequence. A single, he reshoots, and inside trip attempts. But Dustin leans forward, keeps the free leg heavy, and denies the angle. When Islam transitions to the back, Dustin hits a clean hip switch and forces Islam to faceplant. This round really shows how strong balance and disciplined defense can neutralize good timing, and just how good Dustin's defense is. You also start to clearly see Islam's fatigue setting in. In the final round, the fight slows down. The takedowns now come from neutral moments. At 4:23, Islam shoots during a standstill. Dustin is in a good stance but shows no immediate threat of attack. Dustin defends well by pushing the head down and using a limp knee escape. You can see they're both pretty tired. At 3:02, Islam finds the opening he needs. Dustin's feet are parallel and he's standing tall during another neutral reset. Islam shoots a single and Dustin balances again, posting his hand and keeping his hip strong. Dustin is doing a really good job of defending this single. Instead of forcing the position, Islam switches sides and attacks the opposite ankle. He hits a clean golf swing single. It's perfect. Islam snaps Dustin down from the front headlock, transitions to top position, and eventually locks up the Darce. He gets the dub and continues on with his reign. When you study Islam Makhachev's takedowns closely, you start to see that he isn't chasing them, he's waiting for them. Almost every entry comes from a rhythm break, a reset, or an anticipated counter. The lesson here isn't about learning new techniques, it's about decision making and timing. Successful grappling isn't loud or rushed, it's patient, observant, and efficient.